The arrangement. The smell of fresh pastries wafted through the kitchen as Olivia Winters piped delicate rosettes onto a wedding cake. The irony wasn't lost on her. Decorating someone else's wedding cake while her own marriage was nothing but a business transaction. "That looks beautiful," said her sister Maya, leaning against the counter of their family bakery, Sweet Heritage. "The bride will love it," Olivia sighed, tucking a strand of chestnut hair behind her ear. "At least someone's getting a real wedding." 6 months ago, Olivia had agreed to marry Marcus Chen, grandson of the formidable Eleanor Chen. The arrangement came when Sweet Heritage was drowning in debt after her parents' accident. Eleanor, their largest investor, had made the proposition on her deathbed. Her grandson would marry Olivia, invest in the bakery, and fulfill Eleanor's wish to see the families united before she passed. "It's not too late to back out," Maya suggested, though they both knew it was. "And lose the bakery? Mom and Dad's legacy?" Olivia shook her head. "Besides, Marcus isn't cruel. He's just distant." Marcus Chen lived by spreadsheets and strategic planning. At 34, he'd transformed his grandmother's modest tech company into Silicon Valley's rising star. Marriage wasn't in his 5-year plan, but his grandmother's final wish was non-negotiable. The Chen family honored their promises. That evening, Olivia returned to the sleek downtown penthouse she now called home. She kicked off her shoes, leaving a trace of flour on the immaculate hardwood floor. The space felt like a model home, beautiful but unlived in. Marcus sat at the dining table, laptop open, barely glancing up when she entered. "There's dinner in the fridge." "I had it delivered." "Thank you," she replied. The polite exchange their usual extent of conversation. Olivia warmed up the food and sat across from him. "I finished the Lawrence wedding cake today." Marcus nodded, eyes still on his screen. "Good." She studied him. His angular jawline, the perpetual furrow between his brows, dark eyes focused with intensity. Objectively, Marcus was handsome, successful, and even kind in his own way. He treated her with respect, provided generously, and never asked anything of her except discretion about their arrangement. Yet the silence between them stretched like an ocean. "My sister wants us to come over for dinner next weekend," she ventured. His fingers paused over the keyboard. "I have an investor meeting in New York. I'll be gone Thursday through Sunday." Of course. Disappointment shouldn't sting anymore, but it did. Later, alone in her side of the bed, Olivia wondered what it would be like to be truly loved. Marcus slept on his side, back to her, the careful distance between them a physical manifestation of their relationship. In her dreams, she imagined someone who would look at her creations with wonder instead of polite disinterest. Someone who would notice the cinnamon freckles across her nose or how her eyes changed color with her mood. Someone who would choose her, not just tolerate her presence. The next morning, Marcus was gone before she woke, his side of the bed already made. A note on the counter informed her he had an early meeting and wouldn't be home for dinner. Olivia traced her finger over his precise handwriting. "This isn't a marriage," she whispered to the empty apartment. "This is a business agreement with shared living quarters." She gazed out at the city skyline, wondering if this emptiness was all her future held. A loveless marriage, a successful bakery, and the hollow satisfaction of having fulfilled her duty. What she didn't know was that everything was about to change. Marcus's best friend was coming to town, and nothing would be the same again. An unexpected visitor. The bell above Sweet Heritage's door chimed, drawing Olivia's attention from her raspberry tart assembly line. A man with an easy smile and warm brown eyes approached the counter, looking around appreciatively at the display cases filled with colorful pastries. "This place smells like heaven," he declared, resting his elbows on the glass counter. "Are you the wizard behind these masterpieces?" Olivia couldn't help but smile at his enthusiasm. Guilty as charged. "What can I get you?" "Daniel Rivera," he introduced himself, extending his hand. "And I'll take one of everything if I could. But let's start with whatever you're most proud of." She wiped her hands on her apron and shook his. "Olivia Chen, Olivia Chen." His eyes widened. "Wait, Marcus Chen's wife? No way. I'm his best friend from Stanford. I just got back from 3 years in Barcelona." The coincidence startled her. Marcus rarely mentioned friends, focusing conversations on work or necessary household matters. He didn't mention you were visiting. That's because he doesn't know yet. Daniel grinned mischievously. I wanted to surprise him. Is he here? He's at work. Always at work, she added without thinking. Daniel studied her for a moment, his expression softening. That sounds like Marcus. Some things never change? She selected an assortment of pastries, including her signature lavender honey macarons. These might convince you to extend your stay. As she boxed his order, Daniel leaned against the counter. So how did you and Marcus meet? He wasn't exactly the dating type when I knew him. Olivia hesitated. Their official story involved a charity gala, but something in Daniel's genuine interest made her reluctant to perpetuate the lie. It's complicated, she said finally. Daniel nodded, seeming to understand more than she'd said. Most real things are. That evening, Marcus arrived home to find Daniel lounging on his sofa, feet propped on the coffee table. Surprise? Daniel exclaimed, jumping up to embrace his friend. Your wife fed me the best pastries I've ever had, and now I'm crashing your perfectly organized life. For the first time in months, Olivia saw Marcus genuinely smile. His usual rigid posture relaxed as he clapped Daniel on the shoulder. How long are you staying? Marcus asked, loosening his tie. Open-ended. My company's opening an office here and I'm heading up the launch. Daniel winked at Olivia. Plus, I need to make up for missing your wedding. Dinner that night was different. Daniel filled the silence with stories of his adventures abroad, drawing out rare chuckles from Marcus. Olivia found herself laughing more than she had in months. So, Olivia, Daniel asked, Marcus mentioned you're an artist with pastry. How did you get started? Before she could answer, Marcus interjected. Her family's bakery has been around for 3 generations. I was asking your wife, Daniel said gently, turning back to Olivia with genuine interest. She blinked in surprise. My grandmother taught me when I was 8. She said I had magic in my hands. Her voice softened with the memory. I'd spend hours watching her turn simple ingredients into something beautiful. Daniel nodded appreciatively. That explains why your macarons made me contemplate giving up my return ticket to Spain. Marcus glanced between them, a slight furrow appearing between his brows. Over the next few weeks, Daniel became a regular fixture at Sweet Heritage. He'd bring his laptop, claim a corner table, and work while sampling Olivia's latest creations. Unlike Marcus, he noticed details. How she hummed while decorating. The way she closed her eyes when testing a new flavor combination. You should expand, he suggested one afternoon, watching her pipe delicate chocolate designs. Your creations deserve a bigger audience. Olivia smiled sadly. The investment from Marcus saved us, but expansion is a dream for another day. Dreams are meant to be chased, Daniel countered. Have you talked to Marcus about it? We don't really talk, not about important things. The admission hung in the air between them. Daniel frowned. That doesn't sound like much of a marriage. It's not, she whispered, then immediately regretted her candor. I mean, we're just different. He has his world, I have mine. Daniel's perceptive gaze made her feel uncomfortably transparent. Everyone deserves to be seen, Olivia. Truly seen. That evening, when Daniel insisted on hosting a small dinner party for Marcus's birthday. Something Olivia hadn't even realized was approaching. She saw a flicker of something, unfamiliar in her husband's eyes as he watched her laugh at Daniel's jokes in their kitchen. Was it possible that Marcus Chen, man of logic and reason, was jealous? Stirring emotions. Marcus stared at the spreadsheet on his screen, but the numbers blurred together. Instead, his mind replayed the scene from last night. Olivia's head thrown back in laughter at something Daniel had said, her eyes sparkling in a way he'd never witnessed before. He'd felt something unfamiliar twist in his chest, something dangerously close to jealousy. Mr. Chen? His assistant's voice broke through his thoughts. Your 3 o'clock is waiting. He nodded, closing his laptop. Send them in. Throughout the meeting, Marcus found himself distracted by memories of Olivia's smile, not directed at him, but at Daniel. His friend had always been the charming one, drawing people in with effortless warmth, while Marcus calculated probabilities and managed risks. risk. That's what emotions were, unpredictable. Variables that complicated otherwise straightforward equations. He'd married Olivia to fulfill his grandmother's wish and save her family business. It was logical, beneficial to both parties. Feelings weren't part of the agreement. So why did the thought of Daniel and Olivia's growing friendship bother him so much? That evening, instead of working late as usual, Marcus left the office early. He stopped at a florist, an impulse so unlike him that the receptionist did a double take when he walked out. When he arrived home, he heard laughter from the kitchen. Olivia and Daniel stood side by side at the counter, dusted with flour, an array of pastries spread before them. "You're home early," Olivia said, surprise evident in her voice. Marcus held out the bouquet awkwardly. "I thought, these reminded me of you." The flowers were wildflowers in various shades of purple and blue, colors he'd noticed she often wore. Olivia took them, confusion clear on her face. "Thank you," she said softly. "They're beautiful." Daniel smirked knowingly. "Well, I should get going. Leave you two lovebirds alone." After Daniel left, an uncomfortable silence settled between them. Olivia arranged the flowers in a vase while Marcus hovered uncertainly. "I didn't know you liked to bake," he finally said. She gave him a puzzled look. "It's my profession, Marcus." "No, I meant at home. You've never baked here before." "You've never been interested," she replied simply. The truth in her words stung. He'd been sharing a home with this woman for months, yet he knew almost nothing about her daily joys, her creative process, the things that made her eyes light up. "Daniel seems very interested," he observed, trying to keep his tone neutral. Olivia's hand stilled on the vase. "He's easy to talk to. He asks questions and actually listens to the answers." The implied criticism wasn't lost on Marcus. "And I don't? When have you ever asked me about anything beyond the necessities of our arrangement?" Her voice was quiet but firm. "You married me because your grandmother made you promise. You saved my family's bakery. Our transaction is complete. You don't need to pretend interest now." Her words struck deeper than he expected. "Is that all you think this is? A transaction, isn't it?" she challenged, finally meeting his gaze directly. Marcus had no answer. Until recently, he would have agreed without hesitation. The next day, he found himself at Sweet Heritage during lunch hour. He'd never visited during business hours before. The bakery was bustling with customers, and Olivia moved efficiently behind the counter, greeting regulars by name. She spotted him and froze momentarily before approaching. "Is everything okay?" "Yes," he said, feeling strangely nervous. "I just thought I'd see where you spend your days." Daniel emerged from the back, carrying a tray of freshly baked croissants. "Marcus, man of mystery, graces us with his presence." Something shifted in Marcus's chest, seeing his friend so at home in Olivia's world, a world Marcus had deliberately kept separate from his own. "Can I get a tour?" he asked Olivia. She hesitated before nodding. "Maya can cover the front." In the back kitchen, Marcus watched as Olivia moved through her domain with confident grace. Her hands shaped and created with an artistry he'd never appreciated before. When she offered him a taste of ganache from a spoon, their eyes met as he took it from her fingers. "That's incredible," he murmured, the rich chocolate melting on his tongue. "It's for the charity event this weekend," she explained. "The one at the children's hospital." "I didn't know you were involved with that." Olivia's expression softened. "There's a lot you don't know about me, Marcus." The realization struck him like a physical blow. He'd been living alongside this fascinating, talented woman for months, and he'd never bothered to discover who she truly was. That evening, when Daniel suggested they all go out for drinks, Marcus declined. "Actually, I thought maybe Olivia and I could have dinner. Just the two of us." The surprise on Olivia's face made him realize how rare such a request was. Daniel grinned. "Well, look who's finally waking up," he muttered, clapping Marcus on the shoulder before making his exit. Alone together at a restaurant downtown, Marcus asked Olivia about her childhood, her dreams for the bakery, her creative process. Each answer revealed layers to her he'd never glimpsed before. The more she shared, the more he wanted to know. "Why the sudden interest?" she finally asked, wariness in her eyes. Marcus considered deflecting but chose honesty instead. "Because I should have been interested from the beginning." As he walked her home, their hands brushed accidentally. For the first time since their staged wedding ceremony, Marcus took Olivia's hand in his. When she didn't pull away, something inside him began to hope that perhaps their arrangement could become something more, something real. Rising heat, Olivia stood at the edge of the hotel ballroom, watching as wealthy patrons admired her dessert display. The charity auction for the children's hospital had drawn San Francisco's elite, including Marcus, who was across the room deep in conversation with investors. "Your creations are the star of the show," Daniel said, appearing beside her with 2 champagne flutes. "The chocolate sculptures alone should fund a new wing." She accepted the drink gratefully. "Thanks for helping me set up. I couldn't have managed all this alone." Speaking of managing things alone, Daniel nodded toward Marcus. "Has your husband been around more lately, or was that dinner date a one-time phenomenon?" The question made Olivia pause. In the 2 weeks since their dinner, Marcus had made noticeable efforts, bringing coffee to the bakery in the mornings, asking about her day, even sitting with her in the evenings instead of retreating to his home office. Small gestures, yet they felt monumental after months of polite distance. "He's trying," she admitted. "I'm just not sure why." Daniel's eyes twinkled knowingly. "No idea at all?" Before she could respond, Marcus approached, his gaze lingering on Daniel's hand resting casually on Olivia's shoulder. "The auction's starting soon," he said, his voice carrying an edge she rarely heard. "I reserved seats for us in the front." Daniel raised his glass in a mock toast. "I'll leave you lovebirds to it. I spotted some old Stanford friends by the bar." As Daniel walked away, Marcus's hand found the small of Olivia's back, guiding her toward their table. The gentle pressure of his touch sent an unexpected warmth through her body. "Your desserts are getting a lot of attention," Marcus observed. "The hospital director asked if you'd consider being their exclusive provider for future events." Surprise flickered across Olivia's face. "He did?" "I took the liberty of giving him your business card," Marcus continued. "I hope that's all right." "More than all right," she said softly. "Thank you." As the evening progressed, Olivia found herself increasingly aware of Marcus's presence beside her. The subtle cologne he wore, the way his fingers occasionally brushed against hers, the rare but genuine smile that appeared when their eyes met. It felt like something was shifting between them, fragile and undefined. Later, as they walked along the moonlit waterfront toward their car, Marcus stopped suddenly. "Olivia, I need to ask you something." Her heart quickened at his serious tone. "What is it?" "Is there something between you and Daniel?" The question hung in the air between them. Olivia stared at him in genuine shock. "Between me and Daniel? He's your best friend." "That doesn't answer my question," Marcus insisted, his usually composed expression betraying a vulnerability she'd never seen before. "No, there's nothing romantic between us," she said firmly. "He's been kind to me, that's all. He actually listens when I talk." Marcus winced at the implied criticism. "And I haven't been. Why do you care?" she challenged, stepping closer. "Our marriage was never about feelings, Marcus. You made that abundantly clear from the beginning." "What if I was wrong?" The words seemed to surprise even him. "What if I want more than an arrangement?" Olivia shook her head, protective walls rising. "Don't say that because you're jealous of Daniel's friendship with me. That's not fair." "I'm not jealous," he protested automatically, then sighed. "Fine, maybe I am. Seeing how easily he connects with you, how he makes you laugh. It made me realize what I've been missing all these months." "And what's that?" she asked, her voice barely audible over the sound of waves crashing against the shore. Marcus stepped closer, his hand reaching up to cup her cheek. "You, Olivia. The real you. Not just the woman who lives in my apartment, but the passionate baker who hums while she works, who cares so deeply about bringing joy to others through her creations. The woman with dreams and hopes I never bothered to learn about.